Now from the internal nares, the air finally reaches the region which is called as the pharynx, and we need to understand the point that pharynx is the common pathway, or you can say it's the chiasma. Chiasma means crossover, because it is the place where the oral cavity and the nasal, that means whatever goes into our body with the help of the oral cavity or mouth, is going to come in contact with whatever goes into our body through the nasal cavity. So pharynx is the common portion for both alimentary canal as well as the windpipe, that means the respiratory tract. So this portion is common to both digestive system as well as the respiratory system. So the pharynx is a vertical tube which is divisible into three parts: the nasopharynx, oropharynx, laryngopharynx. It is somewhere around 10 to 14 centimeter long, and naso, from the word you can make out, is the one which connects to the nasal cavity. Oro connects to the oral cavity, and laryngo or hypopharynx is the bottom portion of pharynx which is connected to the larynx. So the nasopharynx is the upper part which is above the level of the soft palate. Soft palate is the, in the last class I told you, buccal cavity on the top, its roof is called as palate. Palate has two portions. The front portion is bony type and the back side portion is a soft type, so that portion is called as the soft palate. So next to the internal nares open into the nasopharynx. So the internal nares open into the naso portion of the pharynx. After this, there are two other openings. There are two other openings which are of the eustachian tube. So remember, there are tubes which come from the ear. We'll be learning about that in the sensory chapter, or the second last chapter. So ears also are connected to the pharynx. That's why you might have noticed whenever you put some medicinal drops and all into the ear, you will find that bitter taste will come into your mouth. Reason is the ears are connected to the pharynx with the help of the eustachian tube. So there are two tubes opening, one on the each side, because we have a pair of ears. And then after that there is oropharynx. Now the oropharynx is the middle part which is in connection with the buccal cavity or the oral cavity. And the next part is called as the laryngopharynx or the hypopharynx, and it is the lowermost portion, and it is the common passage for food as well as for the air. So this is the part which is common to both. So whether the air enters or whether the food enters, finally both will be coming in laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx. So it is the common pathway for both food as well as the air. And we need to remember from here that there is crossing of air and food which occurs in the pharyngeal portion. So it's the pharynx where crossing over of the food and the air occurs. Now we all know the structure of trachea. In the junior classes we have been doing, and the structure of the food pipe which is called as esophagus. So let's continue from here. Just remember that because a digestive system is not coming in your syllabus, I need to just tell you this much, that the back side of this is the food pipe or esophagus, and its opening is called as gullet, and the front one is the trachea or the windpipe, and its opening is called as glottis. Glottis can easily be covered with the help of a cartilaginous lid-like structure called as epiglottis. So just remember, glottis is always open. It only closes when we are swallowing the food or swallowing the saliva, and the gullet is always closed. It only opens for a fraction of time when we are swallowing the food. So glottis always remain open. It closes during swallowing. Gullet always remain closed. It only opens during swallowing. I hope this point is clear. Now from the pharynx, the next portion comes is the larynx part. Now the larynx is 3.5 to 4.5 centimeter long portion, and its position is somewhere between 3rd to 6th cervical vertebrae. Now what are vertebrae? We all know that the backbone is made up of large number of small bones which are called as vertebrae. They are divisible into various portions which we will be learning in the bone chapters. So the bones of the vertebra or backbone which are present in the neck region are called as cervical vertebrae. So third to sixth cervical vertebrae is the position of the larynx. Now the larynx produces sound in the case of human. Remember, birds also have a special structure which is called as syrinx. Birds have a special structure, syrinx, responsible for production of sound. Now the larynx is a special organ of the respiratory tract present quite close to the trachea, and it is special because it produces sound in the case of human. And larynx is formed by a number of cartilages. So there are total number of 9 cartilages present which form the larynx. It's a box-like structure which is made up of 9 cartilage in numbers. Now these 9 cartilages are basically 3 unpaired and 3 paired. Because they are paired, so total becomes 6. So 6 plus 3 equals to 9. So there are 3 paired and 3 unpaired cartilages which join to form the larynx. So larynx carries total 9 cartilages in it. Now the names of these cartilages I have mentioned here. The thyroid, cricoid, epiglottis are the unpaired cartilages. These things come in the MCQ questions. And the paired one are arytenoid, corniculate or santorini, and cuneiform. These are the paired cartilages.